Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well and staying safe during this time. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Like I said, thank you so much for checking me out. If you haven't done so, please make sure to hit that subscribe button just right below the video. Cool, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And if you're returning, welcome back. Thanks again for your support. I truly do appreciate having you here.
The majority of people right now are actually not buying XRP just quite yet. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I think the majority of people will only start buying XRP once the lawsuit is settled, fixed, and Ripple's actually won. I told y'all today, I think some people are buying in right now because they think, yeah, Ripple has finally got the upper hand, they're gonna win. But the majority of people are not doing that. For some odd reason, they don't really are I would say believing in the whole system. So what I mean with that is they'll basically start buying in with the exchanges, start relisting, and it's all confirmed and all good because the XP use case, I think, for everybody is clear. But the value of XRP is not being respected enough just quite yet, and I don't think it will happen until we get this final clarity. And Crypto Bull said most will start buying XP when I start selling. Then these people call me an idiot. It's the same people who called me an idiot when I was bullish and bought XRP below 0.15. Yeah, I've been buying XRP for years and years and years. People have called me an idiot for a long time, back then and right now. I've actually had, as I told you guys, in 2020, a lot of people call me, okay, not actually a lot of people, but some people call me up and say, sell your freaking coins, man. They got sued by the SEC. Are you stupid? And I said, no. Did I stutter a little bit? You know, I'm like, whoa, what is going on? Now, to completely play an open book, I'm going to say here that sometimes people in your life, friends, I would say, can actually manipulate you to actually do something financial-wise that you might not want. As I've said before, when Ripple got sued, I had not a problem at all. I've been making videos at the point, and I was always telling my people, I'm holding through. I don't care really what happens. To be completely an open book, sometimes I did go to bed thinking, should I sell some coins? Should I diversify a little bit more? Why? Pure pressure from people, honestly. It is what it is. I never really thought they would lose. I never really was worried. It's just this pressure of thinking I maybe should diversify more that got to me. And that's also what I guess led to me always being such an advocate of always being comfortable with whatever position you have. And that's again why I say these videos are not financial advice, but there's very often some crucial message in here which you might find if you look well enough that might help you in your entire journey. It's not financial advice though, because anything that I do might not be the best for you. I'm just sharing whatever that I am doing. Alright, let's now go with a little bit more of a rapid pace. XRP is not a security, says ex-CFTC chairman. We've actually seen this multiple different times now, and it's actually just about this piece right here. Actually, Chris Giancarlo wrote a detailed argument published in the International Financial Law Review for why XRP the crypto, formerly known as Ripple, was not a security. And again, one of the things which he bases this upon is that if they do consider XRP to be a security, well, then they kind of have to go back in time and basically consider ETH a security too, which is what Charles, or at least Charles Gasparino has kind of added to it. And I guess this actually makes a lot of sense. You know, Ethereum actually had a sale, and so regardless of the way they view it, if XRP turns out to be one, then there's a guaranteed, at least for me, right, a guaranteed result that ETH in the past was one, and that basically means they have to go back in time and give ETH some sort of penalty for that, or again sue them for ETH's previous behavior, which is going to be a very interesting battle. Okay, and then our last little tweet on the Ripple SEC, just lawsuit crypto regulation type aside, the crypto, little spelling error, world is not doing what it should. It should unite versus the SEC. Celsius is next. Coinbase, Kraken, or Crypto.com will be sued. Gary Gensler decided he and the SEC will regulate crypto, not the CFTC. He's going to establish jurisdiction through enforcement, and again, that's because Tony Edwards here said, another crypto lending platform targeted by the anti-American proponent, Gary Gensler. First BlockFi, now Nexo. Celsius will be next. Congress needs to get together ASAP or act ASAP. As again, these lending platforms which operate in the US are going to have some sort of sanction and some sort of problem. The problem here is that it's only for US customers, so a lot of the exchanges and people in the world don't care because, again, US is not the entire world. But the other problem, of course, is the fact that these guys, what they're doing is making the world I would say, a better place in almost every way, shape, or form. And by sanctioning them, by giving them, negative stuff, I don't really understand exactly why. Is it a scam? Is it a Ponzi scheme? If so, take them on, grab them by the butts and slap them a little bit. But I'm honestly just not 100,000% sure exactly where the fault lies. But maybe that's just my ignorance. Alright, moving on. I have an entire video on Cardano that I'm not sure if I'll release before or after this one. But Cardano successfully implements major update. Finder shares crazy ADA price prediction. Very interesting statement. Then again, the reason I didn't include this article in there is because there's actually not anything of substance in the entire article. It just talks about one of the latest upgrades to Cardano, which went out a little while ago, and some sort of prediction which puts ADA at about $58 at some point or another. But I'm just thinking this is like wet finger work, where it's like, well, I'm guessing $60. Why? Don't ask me that question. Alright, then a very interesting article. The Federal Reserve minutes, which was happening a little while ago, we covered that in the channel. I'm not exactly sure what day anymore. Indicate that the hammer could fall harshly on the crypto markets. Fed minutes are indicative of a plan to aggressively raise rates. Fed officials during the meeting also expressed concern over crypto and stablecoins, and analysts are unsure of how this development may impact the cryptocurrency markets. Well, I think the most important thing to understand is that Biden's report is coming out in a couple of days here. We'll see exactly what's going to happen to crypto in that, so let's just wait it out, Let's not speculate too much on the uncertain parts of what exactly is going to come out of this meeting specifically. Biden's going to let go of a statement this week. We'll see what they think. We'll see what they say. We can worry about inflation all that we want. And indeed, in March, some very interesting things are going to happen to that. But most importantly is the speech that Biden's going to bring out, or the report or whatever, coming out in a couple of days. So let's watch that first and then start acting towards the future. Having said that, one thing that's a little bit closer, and that is something that you might want to watch out for a little bit more, is this Bitcoin, Russia, Ukraine tension connection. So as I've already described on the channel a couple of times right now, is that the Russia-Ukraine thing is very awkward. Meaning, we don't know exactly what the consequences for crypto are going to be because it's literally impossible to say. Logically speaking, Russia, a lot of other places around the world that we are not going to comment about here, have a lot of dollars. They want to play war or a game along those lines. They can dump the dollar, trying to crash that or work, in a negative way for the dollar a little bit. That's creating a lot of, tension basically, or not helping the tension at least. That could be something which we should be worried about or watching for and whatnot, but people are not realizing that. Because if, hypothetically speaking, that were to happen, or we talk about these rates or anything, in almost any way, shape, or form, it's bad for the US economy, it's bad for stocks. And the de-risking that we talked about before, it shouldn't really affect something which should act act as the hedge, like a Bitcoin. But also, if that dollar scenario which I just described did happen, it again shouldn't really be negative for a hedge as a Bitcoin. So it's not really too logical, actually. From that perspective, guys, I just stay bullish on this technology, regardless of war, no war, doesn't matter. From the perspective that crypto will most likely just keep going up at a steady pace. There will be some ups, some downs, some manipulation, but the general direction, I would say, is upwards. But again, guys, this is just my opinion, not financial advice. Alright, then I just have two small little articles about VeChain, and I got a couple of questions of people asking, is VeChain still worth it? For me, I would say very much so. Apparently, they're starting to move out a little bit. It said here, VeChain tech team to work out of Dublin, Ireland offices, while Foundation maintains Singapore presence. Just kind of looks like they're moving over a little bit to Ireland for some reason. Most likely like an intellectual property type of thing. We talked about this before, how companies are moving to Ireland for either IP or for some regulatory easiness. Yeah, it can be a lot of different reasons, but Ireland is usually a very nice country, also for tax purposes, which, for example, is why Google is partially set up right there. Then again, Singapore is also pretty friendly on the tax, so there must be some juicy reason, though, guys. They're not doing that for nothing. However, I just wanted to stay here. If you're asking me whether or not it's worth it to get into VeChain, better do some more research. I honestly recommend you to do that. But if you want my opinion on the matter, I would say VeChain is one of the most used blockchains, not in terms of actual transactions amount or so, but in terms of partnerships that they've set in stone, and mostly the connections that they've already made. So in use, I mean, I would say, I guess you should say usable, or we can actually see the use already being there. For a lot of other projects like a Solana or anything like that, or even a Stellar, the theoretical use is very obvious. We can all see exactly what they're trying to build and what they're trying to do, but to actually get into reality, even a Cardano, like I will talk about later, it's pretty easy to see what they're trying to do, but to actually see the result of that is a lot more difficult. And with VeChain, partially that's the same thing, because partially they're not as far as they always claim that they want to get. However, if we look at the partnership list, if we look at the achievements, if we look at the actual products out there, I would say it's quite significant. In terms of burns of ETHO and whatnot, and how fast the transactions are actually going, debatable. But in terms of the actual partnerships and the actual set in stone, I would say deals, yeah, it's really, really far. And so, again, the only thing I'm sometimes confused about is exactly why VeChain is so quote-unquote undervalued, or why the price is not going up so much, or why the transaction number in that sense for VeChain is actually pretty low. I sometimes do wonder about that, because again, it's actually so far from the other perspective. And then one little piece here about Algorand. Actually, there's two pieces. One about Algorand, it's just funny. You know, one Algorand fan just put here a little picture of Vitalik, you know, or put a picture of some Russian guy. It looks like a really promising young developer, huh? Nice. With an Algorand band on, or at least sponsored by Algorand at some Algorand event. Maybe, I'm not exactly sure what this is about or what this is for. A lot of people are happy about that. And Algorand, honestly, is one of my most favorite cryptos right now. It's just facts. And then this, I just wanted to showcase Coinbase's largest ever bug bounty. How a flaw in the new advanced trading feature would have allowed a malicious user to sell Bitcoin or any other coin without owning them, and how Coinbase's reaction speed on a Super Bowl Friday averted a possible crisis. The bounty was $250,000. I told you all before, I think bounties are way too low in crypto right now. Coinbase, for example, they can easily afford to pay this guy $1 million, $5 million, because it said in the articles, source, trust me, that it could eventually have saved billions, and I believe that. You know, whenever I read that, yeah, I do believe that bugs of this sort can sometimes be billions of dollars worth of cost. So I'm thinking, why don't you reward these guys handsomely?
I'm your guy. I will keep you posted. I'm your advocate. I'll be back on a daily basis, usually multiple times per day, with these videos to keep you updated with everything going on. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't done so, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Feel free to share any of my videos with your friends, family, social media, or anybody who may care to listen. Thanks so much for your continued support. I'm always here for you. I want to help you through this time. So thank you so much for continuing to choose me. Enjoy your day, stay safe, and I'll catch you again probably in a couple hours. Thanks, everybody. See you later.